Previously on MDA.
The upshot of what?
We get married, me and Lynn.
Seems sudden.
I've been seeing her for months. Have you been listening?
Yeah, right. Big stubbles. I just didn't pick up on the implication.
Courts have already
If you don't leave immediately, I'll call the police, Layla.
I mean, why are doctors above the law?
Go, just fuck off.
Very deft, Bill.
Okay. Some bastard towed your car.
I personally paid the call bill, but I was deeply pissed off about it. And if I'd been just a little bit more pissed off, then I would have been on Ruth McIntyre's list along with Cameron Foster. MDA has to exist for its members. It has to. And even if we win this round, the bad taste the whole bloody thing's going to leave behind may well come back and haunt us.
He called me cloth ears. He said, tell Lynn to feed Parky cloth ears. Not really the kind of words you want to take with you into the rest of your life.
Might take a while for him to wake up. The sedation has to wear off.
Yeah, well, they gave him a CT scan earlier this morning. There's no evidence of bruising or further bleeding, so it's looking pretty positive. I just hate the waiting.
Oh, well, he'll be very pleased to see you.
Thanks, by the way. Dad? Dad? Luella? Dad?
Mr. Savage.
Can you hear me?
Eric, if you can hear me, can you squeeze my hand? That's very good. Can you wiggle your toes for me? Okay, that's great. What about lifting your left hand? Okay, you want the tube out? We can do that, Lindy. Thanks.
You all right?
Eric, take a deep breath for me when the tube comes out. Just wait a minute. I want you to take a deep breath, okay? Here you go. That's good. That's great. Okay.
Welcome back, Dad.
Good day,
Ja, wie lange? Eine Woche? 2 Wochen? Dann wird's ruhig werden in der Abteilung. Aha. Und der Dieter? Er geht auch, ja?
What is it about German? Even a conversation sounds like it's an interrogation.
Ja, okay. Tja, also mach's gut. Viel Spaß in Stuttgart. Ja, I love you. Ja, ciao.
So, how's the better half?
Busy.
Is she in Stuttgart now?
Yeah, at a conference.
I had breakfast in Stuttgart once.
Well, you must know it well, then.
Absence makes the heart grow fonder, so they say. When you've been married as long as I have, you'll appreciate there are some advantages to having a wife 12,000 miles away.
Morning. Good morning, Mark.
Did you see the 7:30 report last night, Bill?
No, Mark, I didn't have time.
I've got something you might like to look at.
Legal Defence Australia, Layla speaking.
Dad, why are you avoiding
No, I'm not
the issue?
avoiding anything. This is going to be handled in the court.
I mean, the courts have already
If you don't
awarded
leave,
her
if you don't leave
compensation.
immediately, I'll call the police, Layla.
I mean, why are doctors
Get
above
out.
the law?
Go, just fuck off.
Your response, Mr. Somerville?
This is the problem we have with MDA. They won't talk, they won't confront the issues they're facing, and you have to ask yourself, what are they hiding?
You shouldn't have agreed to talk to them, Bill, at all.
They've taken it out of context.
Oh, don't be naive.
They had their foot in the door and you had already refused to see them.
Yeah, with good reason.
And thank you for the buck passing.
Look, it's the press. You can't win.
I was following board policy, Mark.
I copped a serve from a couple of board members last night. They reckon that forcing Foster to pay the call is tantamount to blackmail.
Oh, no acknowledgement of the fact that we negotiated a very favourable settlement on his behalf?
No. Just fed him to the sharks, according to them.
Well, one particular shark already had him in his jaws.
Yeah. Well, be that as it may, we're still being accused of using dirty tactics. And you are seen as the stumbling block in resolving the issue.
That is ridiculous.
Well, I'm simply quoting.
If you're looking for a scapegoat, Mark, get somebody else.
Dr. Ricketson, this is Dr. Jamie Lawless.
How's it going?
Good. I thought I'd be talking to a bunch of lawyers.
Well, we have them too.
Yeah, I had some help from MDA a few years back. Dealt with a lawyer, Bill Henderson.
Happy, yeah, he's still here.
Other than that, I've not been near the place.
So, you still a member?
Well, I retired 5 years ago. But I'd appreciate it if you take a look at this for me. Happened a while ago.
1982.
Know your ancient history, do you?
Reign of Pharaoh Fraser, I believe.
You're good.
Come this way, Dr. Ricketson.
I prefer Oscar.
Oscar.
There you are.
Oh, thank you.
Pleasure.
So, how long were you with the Royal Flying Doctor Service?
27 years. Now, when I'm ready to enjoy my retirement, I get hit with this.
Yeah. Now, the plaintiff is now 21 and suffers from cerebral palsy as a result of intrapartum hypoxia.
What I don't understand is, why am I being sued for something that happened so long ago?
Well, as the parents hadn't sued on his behalf, the child had to wait till he was 18 to bring into action himself.
Trouble is, I can't remember anything about the case.
You don't recall there being complications delivering a baby boy to a Mrs. White at Coomulup Station?
Afraid not.
Admittedly, it was a long time ago, and you must have delivered a lot of babies over the years.
Look, I'm not going dotty.
Well, I'm not suggesting that you are, but well, this was no ordinary case. I mean, according to the mother's affidavit, it was a breech birth, and the baby developed seizures from day one.
Look, I might forget where I've left my car keys, son, but I'm not liable to forget something as serious as this. The bad ones stay with us.
Are you saying that you didn't deliver Mrs. White's baby?
I certainly can't remember it.
Well, if we're going to challenge this, we're going to need absolute proof that you weren't involved. First, we need to check your case records.
Well, there's problem number one.
You haven't got them.
Everything went up in smoke. The fires of '94, lost everything.
Okay.
How did you go with the Morrell case?
Do you mean, do I think our man's got a leg to stand on?
It'd be nice if you did.
Well, no, I'm sorry.
What would you do if your brother came to you with a potentially life-threatening illness?
Well, hypothetically speaking, if any member of my family came to me, I would do what Andy Morrell should have done and refer them on to someone else.
Well, he was in pretty good shape, worked out, looked after himself, so I thought the most likely diagnosis was hemorrhoids. We have a family history.
And you examined him?
At first, he didn't want me to.
Why is that?
He didn't like the idea of an internal examination.
Even by you?
Especially by me.
Perhaps he was scared of discovering that it was something more sinister.
I doubt it crossed his mind, actually.
Okay, you said at first?
That's right. I eventually talked him into it. The digital rectal exam revealed an internal hemorrhoid, so I gave him a script for hydrocortisone cream.
And you left it at that?
No. I asked Pete to schedule a follow-up visit for 3 weeks later.
3 weeks after Christmas 2000?
Mm-hmm.
And what happened on that occasion?
He didn't make the appointment.
Weren't you concerned?
Well, not really. It was school holidays. Pete and Kira took the kids away for a while. I caught up with him in late January.
Did you ask how he was?
Well, no, but he didn't bring it up either.
So you just let it go?
Well, I assumed my original diagnosis was correct.
When did you discover that it wasn't?
9 months later.
September 2001.
He came to see me again, told me he'd been constipated for months and his stool was thin and ribbon-like. I completely lost it. I went right off at him, referred him to a specialist who did a flexible sigmoidoscopy.
And the diagnosis was adenocarcinoma of the rectum.
A chest x-ray revealed metastatic pulmonary lesions. The laparotomy showed a tumour occupying the rectosigmoid column behind the bladder. The tumour was fused to the pelvic wall.
What size tumour was it?
Large. You think I should have referred my brother right away, don't you?
Yes.
So you've got all the TV channels here, plus there's one of the skyline from the top of the hospital, and there's 2 additional medical channels.
Sounds exciting.
What do you want to watch?
Oh, nothing good on TV, especially this time of day. Check the radio, see if you can find John Fane.
My conversation's not interesting enough for you, is it?
I like to keep in touch.
Okay. Well, I paid good money for that TV. Just
You
remember
watch
that.
it then. Oh, 3LO.
Right.
Lynn and I both reckon he's the best.
Eric Savage, seal of approval.
Have you rung Lynn about the accident?
I haven't got a number.
Oh, she'd be wondering why I haven't called.
Well, I'm sure she'll understand when you explain it to her.
Do me a favour, will you? Give her a call. Tell her I'm okay.
Dad, it'd be best coming from you. She doesn't know me.
Oh, she knows all about you. Don't worry about that.
All right. What's her number then?
665. 655. I had it written down somewhere.
I'll ring information. What's her surname?
It's Jesus, it's Williams. No, Wilson.
It's all right. It's all right. It's all right. Her name's Lynn. She lives in Tasmania. That should be enough to go. It's okay. It's going to be fine. Okay?
Hello, Eric. How are you feeling today?
Much better now you're here.
Dad, can you for once not...
Look, if I've got a car kid, I might as well go with a smile on my face.
No one said you're going to die.
Oh, you heard them. I'm not out of the woods yet. They have to do more tests for... What did he call it?
Cognitive impairment. You suffered an extradural hemorrhage. They have to remove a clot from the brain to release pressure and then tie off the bleeding blood vessel.
The old grey matter does seem a bit fuzzy.
You'll be back to normal soon.
Thanks, love.
I'm a Dr. John, and I think your listeners should know that the real issues here are to do with the medical indemnity organisations.
You're referring to the doctor's insurance?
Yes. I'm a member of MDA, and frankly, I'm appalled by the way the association has been run.
Okay, are you claiming they're another mismanaged insurance company?
One more crap about insurance. How much longer are you going to keep banging that drum?
Yes, having paid
What's on the other station?
a substantial increase on the previous year.
I've only seen Kira and the kids once since the funeral.
What I find strange is that your sister-in-law took over a year to instigate this action. You would have thought she'd do something sooner.
I guess she needed time to grieve before she was ready to deal with it.
What do the rest of the family think about what's happening?
As far as I know, she doesn't see much of them. Neither do I, for that matter.
I was under the impression you were a close family.
Yeah, we were, before. When people keep saying, move on and put it behind you. I mean, what trite, glib crap. My brother's dead because of me. And there's hardly a moment passes where I don't go over every detail and dissect it and analyse it and relive it. I mean, how can I put that behind me? Parents go on pretending like nothing's changed when everything's changed. I can't even go inside their house anymore. Pete's stuff, his trophies, his photos, they're still all around the place. Can't even... They say they don't blame me, but they do. I can't even bear to work anymore.
You're not practicing?
I couldn't even help my own brother.
How are you making a living?
Still involved in medicine. I'm a courier for one of the big pathology labs.
You see, the thing is, I need them.
Right, what exactly do you need?
He usually gives them to me. I see him once a week, and if I don't, well, Tyson doesn't like that. So can you?
Tyson, you need a prescription, yes?
Yeah, the pink ones. Otherwise I can't sleep, but he wanted me to.
You're going to have to slow down. You need pink pills. Who usually prescribes them for you?
He does, but now he won't. He wants me to sign it, and I'm not going to sign it. Tyson doesn't like that.
I think he's referring to Dr. Stevenson.
Stevenson, yeah, up on Park Street. Yeah, he gives me the pink ones.
Okay, is there a problem with Dr. Stevenson?
Yes, that's why we came here. He put up a notice in his waiting room saying he's no longer insured. And he wants all his patients to sign this.
I don't like that. I'm not going to sign that.
You don't have to worry about that, okay? Georgie, can you help, please? Can you look after Tyson for me? I'll be back in a sec. What's going on?
Surgery on High Street's doing the same thing. Apparently there's some sort of protest about MDA.
No, he's your patient, Dr. Stevenson, and he's here in an extremely distressed state. Yes, I am fully aware of the dispute that some doctors are having with MDA, but that isn't my concern because my concern is your patient and what medication Tyson needs to be receiving. No, I don't think that Bill Henderson is to blame for all of this. Listen. Are you...
I love it. MDA's being attacked on all sides.
Why do you say that?
Talkback radio. The doctors, they can't get them off the air.
Oh, man, and meanwhile the patients suffer.
Well, what can be better than a bunch of doctors pulling down their own indemnity fund, really?
Oh, Richard, why are you cheering? Without MDA, you'd be out of business.
It would certainly put a hole in my med-ned practice, but the law is an expanding universe, Luella, and I'm in my prime. It would certainly hurt Bill, though.
I think it'd hurt a lot of people at MDA.
Well, the doctors who rang in seem to have Bill in their sights.
Well, they're making a very big mistake.
He has been there a long time. Dad?
What is it,
Yeah,
Mr.
my
Savage?
father, where is he? What's happened?
Well, he should be.
What are you doing?
I need to talk to Lynn.
Tracked me down, wanted to borrow some money.
A number came to me, so I wanted to give her a call.
Did you get through?
Well, by the time I sorted out the coins and put them in the slot, the number just drifted away. I feel like a bloody idiot.
We'll sort it out later, all right?
Found him then.
Yeah, trying to organise a date. I should have known.
She'll be worried, that's all.
Dad, we'll get the phone put on.
We'll walk 50 yards down the corridor.
Is something wrong with him?
It's to be expected. He's taken a heavy blow to the head.
I worked for the tramways for 40 years. Gone are the days when you had a job for life and they gave you a watch when you retired.
Sure, Janice doesn't need to know your entire life story, Dad.
She might be interested.
My granddad was a conductor.
See? That's nothing to be ashamed of.
Quite the opposite. Bring them back, I say.
Well, we couldn't afford private school education on my wages, so my son here went out and won himself a full scholarship, sailed through university and
then won the Nobel Peace Prize.
All I need now is for him to present me with a couple of grandchildren. But there's not much happening in that department. Reckon I'll stick around. Give him a few tips.
There you go.
Thanks, Janice. So, Dad, I've organised for you to have a phone. Can you just sort of behave?
You reckon you can track down my wallet?
As the patient is now dead, there won't be any general damages to worry about. That's some consolation.
That's harsh.
The law is reason free from passion.
Aristotle. Still harsh.
Happy? Could you have a look at this for me, please? It's a RFDS obstetrics case dating back to the 80s.
Dr. Ricketson. Is he an old bloke, quite charming?
He said he knows you.
Yeah, we went to his ad a few years ago, so what's his version of events?
He doesn't remember anything about it.
Don't tell me he's got dementia.
No, he seems pretty sharp for an old bloke.
You may well be an old bloke one day yourself, Jamison.
Have I lived that long?
So have you perused his records?
Don't exist.
Reason?
Burnt in a bushfire.
Convenient?
No, I think he's genuine.
Happy, fax from Ella.
Thank you, darling.
Hey, I had $500. Where's it gone?
Nice try.
Here she is. Good looker, eh?
Very attractive. I don't know what she sees in you.
Hey, I'm a catch.
Oh, what a surprise.
The wedding will be on the long weekend. You can stay with us if you like.
Great.
Here it is. Give her a call, will you?
Are you sure this is it?
Of course I'm sure.
So how long have you known this woman, Dad?
None of your business. Give her a call. She'll be going bananas. She's a bit of a nervous Nelly.
Not to mention a poor judge of character.
What does that mean?
How many other women are you seeing down at this club?
None. Lynn's the only one. Go on, give her a call.
Dad, you're going to have your own phone on soon.
I can't wait that long. Do it now.
All right.
I, ... do hereby release Dr. Thomas Stevenson and his estate from any responsibility now and in the future, blah, 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 blah. Don't you just love it when doctors decide to become lawyers?
I just spoke to Bob Burton. Apparently a number of the VMOs at St Albans are thinking of joining the class action.
Layla's already fielding calls from members who think that MDA's going under.
And it's what people believe to be true that actually counts.
Yeah, what people believe is that medical indemnity organisations rank alongside banks, politicians, used car salesmen and parking inspectors.
Oh, and evidently there's a petition going around demanding you be sacked.
How flattering.
It's just tactics.
What is it with these people? What are they, members of the Flat Earth Society? Do they believe in some Egyptian sun god? What makes them think getting rid of me is going to make a nanogram of difference to the situation?
We're on drive time.
Lies with the medical indemnity organisation. The fact is, I've paid my premiums, but they still refuse to cover me.
Yeah, that's because you haven't paid the call, you idiot.
Exactly. I mean,
I don't think they can hear you, Hap.
thing's a mess. It's been allowed to go on far too long, and that's why we're saying enough's enough. The people at the top have been scamming the organisation. Did you see that thug Henderson last night on TV? They've all got to go. There needs to be a royal commission.
Okay, thanks, Dr. Kim. We'll leave it there. It's 23 minutes past 5 and you're on drive.
Wouldn't you think that they'd have the Royal Commission, then the thug would go?
A couple of journalists have called to talk to you too, Hap.
How to be in England now that spring is here.
This is what I was looking for, the size of the different cases. You see, and the difference here. So that's going to be
Yes, it's Bill Henderson here from MDA. I've been mentioned several times on your program this afternoon, and I was wondering if I might be given the courtesy of responding. Thank you. Yes, I'll hold.
Good night.
Night, Jamie. Now, I believe we have Bill Henderson, Senior Case Manager of the medical indemnity organisation MDA on the line. I gather you've been listening to the debate we've been having, Mr. Henderson.
Yes, Virginia, I've caught some of it.
And your reaction to this?
Well, I think it's offensive to MDA and thousands of its members that a disgruntled few should try and derail a system that is working extremely well and performing an extraordinarily useful service.
Hang on, you've increased premiums and you're refusing to provide cover to financial members.
No, that is not true. A one-off call to raise additional funds was made on members in order to ensure MDA's viability.
Yeah, because you're facing insolvency.
No, that is not the case. The call was a direct result of the increase in level of payouts being made by the courts in medical negligence cases.
Hang on, we've been contacted by numerous doctors. They all claim the call was unnecessary, and they all say it was a result of poor management practices by your organisation, MDA.
Yeah, a small group of currently unfinancial members would prefer that we were fiscally irresponsible.
No, they claim it's the other way around.
Virginia, we are bringing stability to the medical indemnity industry, and in so doing, ultimately benefiting the entire community, surely.
No, you're riding roughshod over your own members.
No. Definitely not. Doctors who have not paid their medical indemnity are not covered by MDA. Full stop, end of story. And they can whinge, Virginia. They can whinge and bleed as much as they like. But I'll tell you one thing. The only way they're going to get assistance from MDA is over my dead body. Shit.
Somehow we're just going to have to argue that Dr. Morrell wasn't negligent.
Okay, well, what about the brother? Shouldn't he have been more responsible for his own health?
Yeah, but it's not legally relevant. A plaintiff's claim can't be reduced for contributory negligence.
Well, that reinforces rule number 1, never treat family members.
A bit hard to avoid, I would have thought.
Not really, no, you just have to say no to them. Well, how can you be objective and unemotional with someone that you've grown up with someone that you love?
You can't, I guess.
No, and a proper diagnosis calls for clinical impartiality.
Well, we don't know all the circumstances yet.
No exceptions, Amanda. No excuses, no exceptions. His brother comes up to him with rectal bleeding and constipation that had been evident for over 6 months. He should have stopped him right there and then.
I'm sure it doesn't need reminding. He made some pretty bad choices.
Okay, what about the wife? He'd had these symptoms for over 15 months. Now, if your husband was that sick for that long, wouldn't you do anything to try to get him to get a second opinion from somewhere?
Well, she might not have been aware that he was sick. And even if she was, she might not have asked the question.
Well, why on earth not?
Maybe she didn't want to hear the answer.
Why is she suing him now, a year later?
Maybe someone got in her ear.
Well, revenge?
Doesn't seem to be much love lost between them.
Is that MDA? This is a message for Bill Henderson.
Morning, Leather. Morning.
Morning, Leather.
Hi.
Hi, this is Claudia from National Press Australia. Could you please call me on 908 765?
Hey, Henderson, over your dead body, you reckon? Don't tempt me, you slack bum.
Check my diaries. I still can't find any mention of a Mrs. White.
And you haven't recalled anything about the case?
Unfortunately not.
What's the other side got?
Affidavit from the mother?
Is that all?
The baby was born on a cattle station. It's unlikely to be anything else.
Well, certainly not a watertight case then. Ring the RFDS and see what records they've got.
And if they're lost or destroyed?
Well, it'll come down to Oscar's word versus hers.
You got a minute, Bill?
What's up?
Oh, just a little matter regarding your dead body. I thought we agreed not to say anything.
Well, that was your policy, I believe, Mark.
Yeah, well, it's about time it became yours as well, for Christ's sake, Bill. Saying that there's no way we're going to defend these people just plays right into their bloody hands.
It was a board decision.
In Foster's case, it was. But we're a discretionary organisation, and we are obliged to use our discretion in all cases.
In all cases, we will decide not to cover those members who haven't paid the call.
Not necessarily.
Well, in what circumstances would we cover them?
It's a hypothetical option. It's a fundamental element of our Constitution.
We'd be creating an impossible precedent.
Look, Bill, shooting your mouth off the way you did is not winning you many friends.
I can see that, Mark.
I've got a very delicately balanced board, and you know that.
You have a very delicately balanced organisation. Give in on this and we'll collapse.
Top lawyer, my son. Still single. Good cash.
Feeling much better this morning, Mr. Savage.
A couple of days and I'll be dangerous.
I think they've already issued a warning.
Do you have to do that?
It's just a bit of fun. I owe my life to these people. Well, you could have done medicine. You had the marks to get in.
I wanted to be a lawyer since I was 12.
You never told me.
I told Mum, Dad. You were never there.
Hello, here we go. There's a smell of deprived childhood in the air.
You've got no idea, have you?
Of what?
Of how much, Dad, how much my childhood was spent waiting for you to come home, waiting for you to pick me up from school, waiting for you to take me to footy. You were always late.
That's just what you remember. What about 1,000 other times?
Dad, they were excuses. I mean, you're always quick with a joke and a laugh. I'd be sitting there, I'd be really pissed off. There you'd be, sorry, Hoagie, I got caught up in a bit of traffic. Sorry, mate, I got speaking to a friend of mine. I couldn't get away. It was bullshit, Dad. I'd smell the perfume when I'd get into the car. I'd wonder who it would belong to. Was it the blonde, the redhead, Auntie Pam? I don't know.
She was nice, Pam.
Oh, shit, I don't want to know, Dad. I really don't want to know.
What you never twigged to, Hoagie, was that I wasn't much of a catch. Single dad, struggling to keep up. Not exactly every woman's dream.
But you weren't with me, Dad. Where were you?
I was working for a living. Long hours. And when I wasn't working, I was chasing around doing the shopping and ferrying you to school and sport. I didn't have time to compete with Errol Flynn, Hoagie. So that perfume you were smelling was all in your imagination.
Yeah, nice try.
Well, let's face it, you're not exactly a blushing virgin. I never saw you twice with the same woman.
So Lynn's the latest, is she?
No, she's the one. I really like her, Hoagie. You will too.
If you say so.
Did you get in touch with her?
I tried, there was no answer.
Don't you get so sick of the cheap jibes, the sheer ignorance?
I don't think they have any idea how damaging it can be.
And you can just fax them through to me here? Wonderful. Thanks very much. Thanks for your help. Bye-bye.
This is outrageous, Bill.
What's that, Oscar?
The pasting you blokes are getting on radio.
There's not much we can do about it, I'm afraid.
Well, if I were you, I'd get on the phone and give your side of the story an airing.
Thanks for the suggestion.
Well, you can't let them get away with it.
Look, it's best not to add fuel to the fire, I think, really.
Bollocks.
How are things going with the RFDS?
Oh, well, Jamie's got it in hand. What do you think?
Look, could you just forget it, please?
There you go, mate.
I don't know why he bothered. I only need to make one call.
Hello, Eric.
When are you going to let me out of here?
You'll have to talk to your neurologist about that. What's your hurry?
Oh, I've got a wedding to organise, as my son may have told you.
Yeah, of course. Well, congratulations.
Thank you. It'd be nice if certain others would pass on their best wishes.
You're all set then.
Thanks. Lynn, it's me, Eka. How are you, love? I'm fine. I had a bit of a prang. Oh, it's not that bad. I've been trying to call you for a couple of days, but my son hasn't been helping.
I'm sick of listening to these cheap, unwarranted attacks on MDA.
So you don't agree?
My word, I don't. The baby was born 20 years ago. I've been retired 5 years, and yet MDA is still covering me.
Well, isn't that the complaint, that MDA's been too generous?
So you throw me to the wolves?
No, but the point is that the funds...
The point is, MDA is so well run, they've got the reserves to support me and any other doctor in my position. And the staff work incredibly hard.
That's reassuring.
These are good people, and they don't need these distractions. So you and all the others should give them a break.
Well done, Oscar.
It's interesting that not everybody shares it.
It's like Oscar may have pulled one out of the hat.
Too little, too late.
Medical Defence Australia, Layla speaking.
Happy? I've got Dana Petras from The Age.
Not in.
I'm sorry, he's just gone into a meeting. Can I take a message?
Going to lunch, Layla?
When will you be back?
After.
Bill? We're not paying the call.
No, of course not.
The members I represent are demanding that certain changes need to take place before we can speak meaningfully.
And what would these changes be?
There's been quite a bit in the media, and congratulations on your contribution.
These changes, Alan?
There's a feeling that some of the current staff at MDA bring with them too much historical baggage for progress to be made.
There was no way that I would bankrupt MDA, an organisation that has been my life for 12 years for the sake of your mob saving a few spiteful dollars.
Something's got to change, Bill.
Yeah, you'll get no argument from me on that point, Alan. But it's your group of 72 that are going to have to do a hop and shuffle and get into step with the other 13,876.
You asked me here, Bill, remember? I thought you must have something to offer. I should have known better.
No, nothing to offer, I'm afraid. Alan, no frequent flyer points, Christmas hampers, no discounts.
Then what?
I think I'll have to pass her.
Amanda? Hey.
Sorry.
Interesting report came through from the oncologist. Given the size of the tumour, he estimates it would have taken 5, maybe 6 years to actually get that big.
Well before Annie's diagnosis.
Yeah, and he says Peter would have been in considerable pain.
Which he failed to reveal to his brother.
Tough guy.
Blame it on our red-blooded Aussie male culture.
Well, it's a little bit
simplistic, I suspect.
No, seriously, there are still a lot of guys who are afraid to admit there's something wrong with them, and then when they finally make it to a doctor, they won't take their advice.
Well, especially if that doctor is their kid brother.
Exactly.
Okay, so the crucial issue is the length of the delay in the diagnosis and how that affected Peter's cancer.
There is no doubt Morrell should have picked there was a tumour on the first examination. But it seems it wouldn't have made any difference.
Can the plaintiff argue standard of care? Like, if it had been diagnosed earlier, then the family would have had time to prepare, make plans financially, emotionally for the future.
It's not legally relevant. The law's more detached than that. We'll just have to hang our hat on causation.
I see. Reason free from passion.
You've got it.
Andy.
This may have been a mistake.
It's confronting for her too, especially after so long.
Andy,
you think I'm an idiot for treating him, don't you?
I can understand how it happens. If you start writing the odd script or inoculations for holidays abroad, that sort of thing, seemingly harmless.
You're right.
Andy, we've had another expert take a look at the path reports. And your brother's cancer was already there by the time you saw him.
What?
There was nothing you could have done.
When you're ready, please, ladies and gentlemen.
Ready?
The defendant failed to act in the best interests of his patient, and in our view, this represents a breach of his duty of care. At that first appointment, Dr. Morrell should have ensured that the mass that he discovered during the digital examination was, in fact, an internal hemorrhoid and not a polyp or a cancer as it turned out to be.
Margaret, Mr. Morrell might have been Dr. Morrell's brother, but he was an uncooperative patient. Now, he resisted the digital examination until he was eventually coaxed into it, and then he failed to make the second appointment.
I would have expected a doctor to ring his patient in these circumstances.
Do you agree, Simon? We're dealing with a close relationship between two brothers. And in that context, I don't think it was unreasonable for Dr. Morrell to expect that his brother would contact him again if there were any further problems.
We understand they saw each other several times after the missed appointment. On each of those occasions, Peter Morrell had the opportunity to speak to his brother, but he didn't. When he finally did make another appointment, months later, Dr. Morrell acted very swiftly.
Dr. Morrell should have referred his brother to a colorectal surgeon straight after that first appointment. That would have been the responsible thing to do.
And Margaret, what makes you think he would have kept that appointment?
I would like to ask Mrs. Morrell why, in her opinion, her husband continued to ignore his ongoing symptoms.
He believed what Andy told him.
Right, well, even if he did, for most people, such symptoms would have caused grave concern. Your husband was constipated for 6 months. He was bleeding from the rectum. I imagine, as his wife, you would have been aware of his discomfort.
Yes, of course.
All right, so you discussed it?
Not much, no.
You see, I find that odd.
Well, what's odd about it? Pete wasn't that sort of person. He didn't whinge every time he caught a cold.
Mrs. Morrell's actions aren't in question.
Try to get to the point, please, Simon.
If that had been my wife, I would have dragged her kicking and screaming to get a second opinion.
Totally irrelevant.
Pete didn't think he needed a second opinion. He trusted Andy, and that cost him his life.
What if your members were to make a contribution of a different sort to MDA?
I think you need to tease the concept out a touch, Bill.
Well, let's say, for argument's sake, that the core problem here is that your members are feeling vulnerable.
Vulnerable but determined.
Of course, like our friend Cameron Foster.
He's our weakest link.
And who will be the next weakest link? That's the question.
What have you got in mind?
My concern, Alan, is that doctors should be able to practice their profession and care for their patients in the peace of mind that their assets will be protected. If your members would agree to pay an additional amount to cover any claims prior to the beginning of the dispute, we might be able to do business.
And this payment would be?
Well, let's call it tail cover.
Which is defined as?
Discretionary assistance to cover any incidents occurring prior to our new reinsurance deal.
Sounds possible. And the cost of this so-called tail cover?
Well, we'd be thinking somewhere in the vicinity of, well, let's say in the region of, well, exactly the amount of the call.
Can it be paid in installments?
Would you guarantee that your members would take no further legal action against MDA and its staff?
Yes, and we would expect a similar undertaking from MDA not to discriminate in any way against members of the group.
Of course, we'd be only too pleased to oblige. It'll be a win-win situation.
Positives all round. Looks like we've got a deal. Drink?
I believe the sun is sufficiently over the yard, huh?
You're saying, Simon, that the tumour was close to killing Mr. Morrell when it was diagnosed?
Exactly. For Peter Morrell to have had a chance at survival, he would have had to have been diagnosed 5 years or more before the time that he actually saw his brother.
I don't believe that. The chemo was shrinking the tumour. If Peter had had more time, he might have survived.
Unfortunately, Mrs. Morrell, the fact that you shrink something proves very little.
It must.
That was the opinion of the oncologist who treated your husband.
They're right, Kira.
Why should I believe anything you have to say, Andy?
No one could have saved him.
All you care about is saving your brilliant career.
What career?
Oh, come on.
I've given up medicine.
Colorectal cancers are notoriously slow-moving.
That's beside the point. Your client failed his patient.
But I thought...
Kira, stop it.
Kira, you're not the only one who's suffered.
Why didn't you tell me?
I think I need some time with my client.
Okay, let's take a break. We'll be back here in 30 minutes. Come on.
God, I've never seen her like that. We used to hit it off so well.
Did you know her before she married Peter?
I dated her first, then Pete came along. Cheers. Typical big brother stuff. He wanted what I had.
Did they have a happy marriage?
There was a rocky patch a few years ago. Pete suspected her of having a fling with his old mate, Jim Gardner.
Did she?
Most likely, given that they're now living together.
She has a new partner?
Yeah. They waited a few months so it didn't look too tacky, and then they shacked up together. Kids hate him.
Why didn't you tell us this before?
Is it relevant?
If a person has a new partner, it affects their claim for compensation.
You think she's been trying to keep it quiet?
Nice set of wheels.
Ho, ho, ho.
Did you get through to Lynn all right?
Yeah. She wanted to fly up straight away, but I told her to save her money. She struggles as it is.
I'm sorry if I was shitty before.
Don't worry about it, Huggy.
Seem to have the same argument every time, don't we?
I can't make up my mind whether you're at war with the world or war with yourself.
If I need a therapist, I will consult a professional.
Save your money. I know you better than anyone.
Oh, is that so, is it?
Why, you've never had any luck with women because you won't let your guard down.
It's funny, I thought I was just a bastard.
You're scared to get close. They call that fear of commitment.
Well, that's pretty good coming from you.
Are you trying to say something?
Who were you committed to, Dad?
Believe it or not, I never touched another woman while your mother was alive.
I wish I could believe you.
You want to hear the full story?
Later.
In the event this goes to court, I believe a jury would find it very difficult to decide on the balance of probabilities that Dr. Morrell was negligent, especially in the light of the expert witness assessment.
That remains to be seen.
But it's still something to think about, isn't it? I mean, Mrs. Morrell, you could carry this out for weeks, for months, years, and then walk away with nothing.
Stop trying to intimidate my client. Mr. Morrell failed in his duty of care to his patient.
Peter was no ordinary patient. He was Andy's brother. Andy would not have put his life in danger.
I was Peter's wife, and I've been left with 2 little children to raise.
Do you have any other financial help?
What's that supposed to mean?
Well, I'm sure Miss Kibble has explained to you that if the question of compensation ever arose and it was found you had a new partner, then that would have to be taken into consideration.
This is not about getting rich.
You sure?
Andy, how can you accuse me of that?
Miss Kibble,
I haven't got a new partner.
Do you not have a relationship with a Mr. James Gardner?
Oh, goodness.
He left.
Why?
Because dealing with Pete's stuff-up's got too much for him.
Could we return to the matter at hand?
Kira, when did this happen?
12 months ago. I'm desperate.
Your husband wasn't insured?
Pete, insured? Are you kidding? He left me with a huge mortgage, credit card bills, you name it. Good old fun-loving Pete.
Can we have a word?
Sure.
I mean, just Kira and me.
Miss Kibble?
I strongly advise against this, Kira.
Can we go in there?
I suppose.
Nice drop of rain over the weekend.
We'd like to talk some more. It could take some time.
We have received a response from the RFDS. Your name was on the duty roster for that day. But, according to this, you were diverted to pick up a child who was diagnosed with epiglottitis.
His epiglottis had become infected. It was blocking his windpipe. Poor little bugger could barely breathe. But what about Mrs. White?
Well, she was actually seen by a Dr. Richardson, not Ricketson, hence the confusion.
But wait a minute. How could a mother get confused about who delivered her baby?
Well, I think it's understandable when you've had 9 children. Mr. White was an itinerant worker. The family moved around a lot, lived in lots of places, saw lots of doctors.
I'm very grateful to you, Jamie.
Enjoy your retirement.
Thanks.
Here she is.
Eric, you're off.
Thanks for everything. You're a great team.
Thanks. Take care.
Thanks, Lauren. See you. So, Dad, I'm going to drop you around at rehab and then I might just disappear for a while.
Dump me and run, eh?
Oh, no, I'll be back as soon as I've cleared up a few things at work.
Rehab? Anyone think I was crook?
You are crook.
Fat lot you care. What's wrong with your place, anyhow?
Well, someone have to keep an eye on your Dad, change your dressings.
Well, you don't have to fob me off to rehab. Then he'll come and look after me.
We'll see.
I was expecting something a bit more upmarket. Doesn't even have leather seats.
Bus stop's down the end of the road, Dad.
Oh, nice way to talk to you, old man.
Yeah, well, I bought a change of clothes. I got your suitcase. Dad, stop stuffing around.
Help! 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 Someone! You shit! Shit! You all right?
Joey, get a monitor on. Then line in and take bloods. Partial respiratory obstruction. Hand me a Goodell's. Tolerating the Goodell's well. Pupils equal and reactive. 2 millimetres.
Saturation's 90.
Jodie,
Respiratory
what's
rate's
happening?
36.
What's happening?
Wait outside,
Tell
Richard.
me, no, I want to know what's happening.
You can't be here,
What,
okay?
is he gonna die?
Just wait outside, Richard, please.
Connected? No. What road?
Bump the fluid straight in as soon as I got this in.
You, quick, turn the ECG on. Turn the ECG on.
There was inadequate blood supply to the brain. He's severely
Fuck's sake.
neurological.
No, for fuck's sake, what are you saying to me, Llewellyn?
Look, we've conducted a series of tests, and his brain is no longer functioning.
He's brain dead.
Right, so. They did everything they could.
One minute we're talking, and the next minute he collapsed, and then... Fuck, you know. Oh. Thought he was getting around.
Nothing could have prevented any of this from happening. Richard, is there someone I can call for you?
Do you mind keeping me company for a while? He wanted to talk to me, I wouldn't let him. What sort of son was I?
I can't believe Kara would just withdraw like that.
Yeah, I thought she was desperate.
And Andy's going back into general practice.
Is there a connection?
Do you want my objective view on that?
You gonna give it to me?
I think emotion and, dare I say, passion might have played a role.
I guess there's a place for everything. I better get going.
So who is it tonight? Leanna? Gina? Opera? Theatre?
Tonight I'm going home. Alone.
Do you cook for yourself?
Yeah, sometimes.
Cooking for one. Can't ever get motivated.
No, I don't mind it. I'll see you tomorrow.
Okay, enjoy.
Hello? Is that Lynn Wilson? No, this is Richard Savage, Eric's son.